Welcome to Jewish Cinémathèque, where we meet some of the important faces involved with films that tackle aspects of the Jewish and Israeli experience. Today I'm joined by Israeli-born writer, director, producer Guy Nattiv, and Iranian actress, producer, director Zar Amir. Together these two, an Israeli, yes, and an Iranian, co-directed Tatami in an historic collaboration. Guy directed, co-wrote, and produced the live-action short Skin, which garnered him an Academy Award. He went on to create a feature-length adaptation the following year that won the Firpresky Critics Prize at the Toronto International Film Festival. Guy also directed the amazing, powerful film Golda, with Helen Mirren as the former Prime Minister. Zar rose to international prominence for her performance in the thriller Holy Spider, for which she won the Cannes Film Festival Award for Best Actress. Since then, she has starred in Shada, which won an Audience Award at the Sundance Film Festival, and Reading Lolita in Tehran, which won a special jury prize at the Rome International Film Festival. Tatami is her directorial debut. Their film Tatami is set during a one-day nail-biting experience at the World Judo Championship in Tbilisi, Georgia, where Laila, an Iranian judoka, and her coach Maryam, played by Zar, not only are facing a challenging set of matches, but there are forces outside the stadium that have a chilling effect.
Next, on Tatami 1, in the white from the Islamic Republic of Iran, Hossein.
مدال رو شاخشه.
بچه‌ها رو می‌بینی؟
خداحافظ.
عاشقتم.
خوب کار کن تا 10 برابر ازش قوی تری. وقتی میریم. الان میام. باش.
بیام یه عکس بگیرم از طرفداراتونم.
باشه. سلام.
لیلا.
بابا.
چی بابا؟ مامورا اینجان. هر چی بهت میگن گوش کن تا برای هیچ کدومون درد سر پیش نیاد.
خان قبل از اینکه به فینال نزدیک بشی انصراف
نه تظاهر میکنم مصدوم شدم نه عمدن میبازم.
پیشنهاد نیستا.
She's getting threats to withdraw. We can't officially offer her any help until she asks for it. Protocol.
من دیگه بازوچه دست اینا نمیشم.
من اینجا حواسم به همه چی هست.
خب میدونی که باید کار کنی. من تا تهش میرم. با منی یا نه؟
ها!
توی زن قوی و از پس همشون برمیای.
لیلا مرد. به خودت فکر کن. به خانوادت.
حسینی باید هر چی زود.
چطوری همه چی به هم ریخت؟
My name is Leila Hosseini. I am here to win the gold for my family, for my team, and for my country.
Zar, welcome to Jewish Cinémathèque.
Thank you.
Guy, welcome back.
Good to be back. Good to be back with you. All right.
This is an historic thing. I can't even imagine. I know that Iran, before the Shah, I mean after the Shah, right, while the Shah was still in power, I had direct flights to Tel Aviv from Tehran. And I know, the warmth of that and the pen pals that I understand continue to this day between Israelis and Iranians. But to work together on a film, it's the first time. I can't think of another time. Zar, what was that like for you to be working with an Israeli, which, by the way, is one of the underlying themes of this film?
I mean, the first thing, first of all, I didn't think that he's an Israeli. For me, art and cinema doesn't have border, you know. So as two human beings, I think we got connected immediately. And you know, everything started for me with this character of Mariam. So we had lots of discussions, we took time together, and then after some time, Guy offered me this collaboration as co-director. I mean, till this time, till this offer, I didn't even, think about his Israeli or whatever. But only maybe because we are all forbidden to meet each other in my country, and I grew up with this fear that, oh wow, what's going on then if I do this collaboration with this person from this country? Then maybe that was the time that I took my time, and you know, I needed to be clear, to be sure that we are doing cinema and nothing else.
Art and athletics, as you mentioned, have no borders. I love it. I mean, it's what it should be, and yet you chose to make this into a film about an athlete who is an Iranian judoka. And have you done judo as a child or at any point in your life? I mean, what drew you to this sport, and why did you initially choose the subject for a film that you would make and then work with Zar?
Well, first of all, I'm a big fan of Zar, and since I saw her in Holy Spider, she's an amazing artist and very brave as well. And so I was honored when she came back and said, "I do," and that we grew up as so-called enemies, you know, because when I was a kid, they taught us that every Iranian person hate you and want to kill you. And Zara told me that every time she went to school, she had to say "Death to America, death to Israel" on a doormat, that in the flags of, you know. So she didn't understand why. It was like, why do I need to do that, right? It was like indoctrinating you to. But when we met for the first time in Tbilisi, Georgia, I felt like
we met in LA.
LA, of course, but I know. But when we started working together, I felt like I'm basically seeing the sister I never had.
Wow!
Because we love the same food, we love the same music, we love the same cinema. We have basically the same families, right? The mother, the this, the that. There's not a lot of difference between us, and that's something we were taught, that there's so much gap between us, and to find suddenly the truth about who we really are changed my life. And it was one of the best decisions I've made in my life, to open myself to work with Iranian talent. Now, I give Zar a lot of respect that she had the courage to say yes, because most people would probably say no, because of where I'm coming from. But Zar, because she made this, a courageous exit from her own country, she already had nothing to lose. She went, I'm sorry that I'm speaking on her behalf, but I felt that she's the courageous. It also led to what we do in the movie, this courageous act between us, because we have a lot of haters from both sides. How can you do this? Why do you do that? You know, and so it's all started from 2019, the World Championship in Tokyo. Saeed Mulai, an Iranian best judo fighter, the pride of Iran, going to take the gold, the first gold for Iran. And then Sagi Muki, his best friend, Israeli. They are hanging out in coffee shops and eating dinners in different countries, right? In Budapest, in Tokyo, best friends. When they meet on the mat, they're not enemies. They just, athletes, right? At the same day, they both winning and winning and winning and winning. and then they have to meet each other at some certain point, at some rounds, right? And then Said Mulai getting a phone call from Tehran saying, abort mission, injure yourself, you're not allowed to meet the Zionist traitor or the Zionist entity. And you know, most athletes will say, okay, abort mission. But this guy made history by saying, F no, I'm going and I'm taking the gold. This is my day, this is my night. And every fight that he's going for, he's paying the price. More and more sanctions in Iran, his family. And that was our DNA for Layla and Mariam. When I wrote the script, I wrote it as male protagonist, but then when Mahsa Amini murdered happened, and you remember all the movement
If you could just remind the audience, of course.
So Mahsa Amini was a woman who did not wear hijab. It was in Tehran, right?
Yeah. No, then but no, she was wearing. But that the story was there. I mean,
yeah,
we had our female athletes.
Yes.
Before her murder.
Right, before her murder. Yeah. And then, but tell them.
You know,
tell
it's
him the way.
kind of. I think that was a homage to all these female athletes. You know, first of all, judo, Iranian female judoka, they are not allowed to do. They can do only Asian competitions because
of the love with America.
Because it's dangerous.
No, because of the hijab. Because it's not allowed to wear hijab in international competitions.
Because of the danger, only
dangerous.
because of it is dangerous, as we see in our movie. And for me personally, I think that was a very interesting idea to transfer all these to female story. Also because we have this young female generation today that they are so brave, and even before the whole woman life freedom happens in Iran, we knew something is going on. We knew this generation exists, these women, they are fighting for their freedom, you know. And that was inspiration to, you know, and I really think it's now for me, these judoka, these women, they exist only in our movie. Because you never see them in European competitions or in Olympic or, you know, in championships. So yeah, it's a kind of like homage to these women.
When did you leave Iran, and what were the reasons for your leaving?
I left in 2008. Yeah, it's a long story. I don't want to take your time for my story. You can Google it.
It's a whole different program.
It's a whole different program. But in effect, you had to leave for whatever reason it was.
And I was forced to leave.
To leave.
Yeah.
And we have amazing Iranian filmmakers now winning all of these international awards. And I've seen a few of these Iranian films, and I say, oh my gosh, how do they make them? And can an Iranian filmmaker today, I mean, they're doing it, but they're doing it sort of underground, continue to produce films safely? And how can an Israeli filmmaker today make films and get support from this government to work with the enemy?
You know, it's not about being safe, it's about not being involved in this system, not working with the support of this government. And I think this is something maybe that we can share today with independent Israeli artists or filmmakers. It's not about being safe, it's more about not getting these hands dirty, you know, with that money, with the money coming from that government. For me, there is no difference between these two governments, and we don't support them, you know. And many other filmmakers, they the same. And after in Iran, at least, you know, with censorship, always we try to find a way to say what we need to say, to make movies in a poetic way, in a symbolic way, you know. But what happened 2-3 years ago with this, with the murder of Mahsa Amini, you know, there is we can't go back. It's kind of like people, we woke up, you know, we decided to not obey anymore. You know, exactly what we say in our movie. And That's the challenge. That's why we have more and more underground movies. And it's hard. I know my colleagues in Iran, they just, they sell their house, their car, their, personal stuff just to make a movie, underground movie. And maybe the quality is not perfect, but it's a promise, for a future. They don't want to lie anymore. They don't want to obey anymore. They don't want to collaborate with this system anymore.
And did you see the Seed of the Sacred Fig?
So tell us. Yeah.
There's a movie, Seed of the Sacred Fig, that was nominated for an Oscar and was very, very. He did it in an underground way.
Right.
And he had to go to Germany with and edit there, and everything was like. It's a very, very powerful movie.
Or you know what, the Palme d'Or of this year, Jafar Panahi.
That kind,
the
right?
Same, yeah.
I want to try and understand how this film evolved. You were originally making it about male judo athletes. And I guess you needed some assistance, some technical assistance, a better understanding of Iranians, no?
No, I knew that as an Israeli Jew, Ashkenazi Jew, I cannot tell an Iranian story. It's just not my role in life, but I need not only help, I need to open myself to collaboration. And if without Zar, without Elham Arfani, our co-writer, and all the Iranian cast that Zar brought, I wouldn't be able to make this movie. And Zar came into the script and just made revolutionary stuff. Like she made Mariam so deep and had an arc of her own. and without this collaboration, Tatami wouldn't be existed for me. So I think this is the best decision I made, because it just made this collaboration happen and our movie deeper in a way. And we completed each other. And it's not about ego. It's not about like, no, me concept. No, it's about making the best movie we can make. And there's so many stuff that I didn't even know that Zar told me. No, that's not how the Iranian diplomat talked to a woman. You never touch. I never even thought about that. And the dialogue and the dialect and all the stuff that she was really hands-on. And I was so happy that I can focus on the camera movements and everything. And Zar was with the actors, and we changed and we met in the monitor after every take, and we looked at each other and we said yay or nay.
Wow.
That's how it all. And we just found ourselves Jews, Persians, Americans, Georgians in Tbilisi, Georgia, in this stadium, Russian stadium from the 50s, with thick walls, with no air to breathe, with people smoking. And we were just like, wow, this is an historic moment. And while we were shooting it, we got notifications on our phones, another incident from the female revolution. And it was all pre-October 7th. So just how the world completely changed from that moment, it's insane.
And how it continues to change even today.
Continue, non-stop. So, yeah.
You've been acting, I imagine, since you were a child?
No.
No? When did you decide to begin acting?
No, I started to make short movies with my friends at the age of 16. Collaborating in short movies as assistant script, and then I wanted to continue my study in filmmaking. And I had a professor who told me, he was a friend, but he's one of the biggest name of theater scene in Iran. He told me, now you know everything technically about filmmaking. If you want to become a good director, you need to learn about acting. And that was, I think, the most wisest, advice I ever had. And so I listened to him and I continued my study in acting. And so I started it really right after the first year of my university. I got some offers, and so I got into acting.
And how was it for you to be behind the camera and in front of the camera, looking at yourself in a very different way than you might have if you were just acting? This was your first direction of a film.
I did short movies, but I wasn't in front of the camera. Luckily, I think I have this capacity to just, take distance from myself. The person who's even when I'm acting, when I'm playing in a movie, I don't, some actors, they don't really want to watch themselves. I don't have any problem. I need sometimes to watch what I did, to make correction or adjust things, So no, it's never Zar, it's the character. But that's why that advice was so amazing, because it helped me now when I direct and I see how it functions. Sometimes directors, they can't really lead you, they can't help you to find the character, to make it authentic. And because of this acting experience I had all these years, I have a smooth way, of talking to actors, or find a way to make it happen, or see for them that only a character, and vice versa. When I'm in front of camera, I always concerned about my acting from the point of view of the director,
So you go to the monitor, and he says, "I don't like it," and you say, "Gee, that was the best take I've ever given."
I gotta be honest. I worked with Israeli directors before as a duo. I never had more smooth sailing with this one. We agreed. It's boring and it's schmaltzy and kitschy.
No, I love it.
But we agreed on everything. It was like a love fest.
Halavai, that this should it should only be like this all around. Yeah.
Yeah. So no problems there.
And judo? Did you have to study and learn about judo?
We as Iranians and Israelis, we grew up with judo all our lives. The medals that Israel has, most of the medals are from surfing and judo. Judo is like the number three in popularity of sport in Israel. Oh, yeah, you didn't know that? Americans do not know anything about judo. For you guys, it's wrestling.
Yeah, we don't get it.
No, you don't get it. But it's homage also to this Japanese sport that has so much respect, because other than MMA and boxing and all those gory, more bloody sports, in judo you honor your opponent, right? You bow. Even when you lose, you bow again, and you have to shake the hand.
You can't hurt your opponent.
Yeah, you cannot hurt your opponent because
you're penalized if you do that.
Yeah, so it's almost like contradictory, like it's almost the opposite of what the governments want you to do. So we chose this sport as kind of a code of honor.
So it's a story about moving forward, tackling the pressures around you, competing in a very small way and yet in a very broad international way.
It's physical and mental fight. That's what it is. Yeah.
Now you play a coach, so you had to know something about judo, but I take it that you probably didn't grow up doing judo.
No, when I told my friends I'm going to make a movie about judo, they were just like, what? No, I had no idea about judo. Thanks to Guy, I found it very exciting. It's kind of like a dance already, and I love this philosophy behind it, this respect, this honor, this attitude, and I took it from there, and I met this our judo coach who was working with Aryan Mandi, our main character, and just to learn more about how is the connection, how it works, how it functions, and how's the body language of a coach, just to be able to go through details.
A coach who had been herself an international star. It's a choreography in a real sense. So who helped you with that choreography?
You want to tell them about Georgi?
No, David.
I tell them because my brain is.
I can see the two directors collaborating, deciding.
Yeah, Georgi is the head of the Georgian team, a national team. He also was the head of the Egyptian national team. He choreographed all the fights for us, almost like a dance. So if you look at judo fighting, similar to wrestling, it's almost like two scorpions fighting. It's like dancing right, left, doing the rounds, grabbing, and then in a second you can lose. In 1 second if you lose focus, you can just lose because you got to be focused non-stop. So what we did is he orchestrated all the fights, and the camera danced around with full-on shots, like long takes, together with the judokas, and we shot it from different angles.
And you must have had it on the ground also.
Yeah, so we had transparent glass, and they were dancing and fighting on the glass, and we were just beneath it. It was important for us also to play the music, taiko, which is like the Japanese war drums, while they were fighting. So they will hear the rhythm of this dance. You know what I mean? So it was just a joy to explore it, as a filmmaker.
But the music sort of carries on in a very different way when you leave this.
Correct. The war doesn't end on the tatami. The war continues outside. It's a political war. It's a stress. It's a psychological mind.
And you do this in part with music and with the visuals.
Yeah, of course. The music is only drums. There's nothing more than just taiko. Dasha, our composer, is just amazing. German composer, beautiful.
How did you find him?
I saw her in another movie she made, and I was blown away by her music, and I just brought her to this. And she actually brought real Japanese taiko drummers, and she recorded them.
Your actress, who I guess she's not a judoka, right? She had to learn this. How the heck did she do that?
She
had a good coach, maybe.
Yeah, she had a good coach. She's a hard worker. She's amazing. She's fantastic. She's so talented.
What was the process? How did she learn?
She comes from box, so physically.
Boxing, yeah.
She was a boxer.
Yeah.
She was ready, but she didn't have any judo experience. So she got trained by our coach from Hollywood,
Philip,
for 3-4 months. And we have stone on set for her if in case she needs, and we were sure that she's gonna need, but she did almost everything, 100% everything herself. And all the judokas, the opponent that you see in the movie, they are real Georgian judoka. And they were all amazed.
Amazing.
But we had judoka from France, we had judoka from Georgia, we had judoka from...
real judoka.
Real judokas, the real champion, and she kicked their ass. She kicked their asses. She went in, and she's so strong. We said, who is she? And she has like a white belt, and they had black belt. She kicked ass, she got injured a few times, she never surrendered, we iced her, and she continued.
And it's not only about judo, emotionally, it's a hard character. It was a hard time, intense time for all of us. Very short time for shooting we had with all this physical stuff, she really killed it.
And Zar really upgraded her Persian, because she's American. Her father is ex-Iranian who fled the revolution, and her mother is Hispanic. So her Persian was not perfect and Zar really worked with her to do the kind of like the pronunciation and the whole thing.
Yeah, but all comes from her because she was so open. She was working 24 hours and 24 hours,
Yeah, unbelievable.
The film is called Tatami. It's unbelievable. You are on the edge of your seat throughout. And it is historic. And I'm just hopeful that as you began the interview today, this goes beyond any questions of international borders, just people talking to other people, working with other people, competing with other people, no matter who they are. I love it.
Great message. Thank you.
Please go and see the film. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate you.